Eala Janice Tjen lose in Abu Dhabi Open doubles semi-finals. Eala and Janice Tjen in action during the Abu Dhabi Open doubles tournament. Photo, Mubadala Abu Dhabi Open. Eala and Janice Tjen fell to the pair of Teresa Mihalikoff and Olivia Nichols, 6-4, 6-2, and bowed out in the semi-finals of the Abu Dhabi Open doubles competition on Friday. Eala and Tjen lost steam after going toe-to-toe in the first set against the fourth seeds, who struck together back-to-back games to seal it. 6-4. The duo from Slovakia and Great Britain carried the momentum into the second set, racing to a 3-0 lead before Eala and Tjen scored a game to halt the turn. Mihalikoff and Nichols, though, had just enough cushion to cruise to the final of the WTA 500 doubles tournament. Both Eala and Tjen have now concluded their Abu Dhabi campaigns with exits in the singles play. Eala lost in the quarter-final late Thursday while her Indonesian partner fell in the second round. Eala's Middle East swing nonetheless opened on a high note, highlighted by a gutsy comeback win over Alexandra Sasnovich of Belarus in the round of 16 at the Filipino tennis aces. Listed to see action in the Qatar Open and Dubai Tennis Championships. A semi-final that still meant something. The scoreboard in Abu Dhabi did not favor Eala and Janice Tjen that night, but tennis has never been a sport that tells its whole story in numbers. Under the bright, polished lights of the Abu Dhabi Open, the doubles semi-final unfolded with the quiet drama that only a partnership can carry. Every point was shared, every glance exchanged, every small nod between rallies revealing trust built not overnight, but over years of chasing the same dream from different corners of the world. For Eala and Tjen, the loss marked the end of their run in the tournament, but not the end of what the week had already proven. They walked onto the court not as favorites, but as believers. Eala, still so young yet already carrying the weight of expectation from an entire nation, played with a familiar mix of composure and fire. Her left-handed strokes cut through the court, sharp and intentional, while her movement hinted at the singles star she is steadily becoming. Janice Tjen, calm and calculating, brought balance, soft hands at the net, smart positioning, and the steady presence every doubles partner needs when pressure creeps in. Together, they were rhythm and response. The semi-final, however, demanded more than rhythm. Their opponents pressed early, forcing rushed returns and tightening angles. The rallies stretched longer, the margins thinner. A missed volley here, a double fault there, small moments that, at this level, grow teeth. Yet even as the match tilted away from them, Eala and Tjen never unraveled. They fought. They held serve when it mattered. They chased down shots that seemed already lost. They talked between points, recalibrating, encouraging, refusing to let frustration define the moment. This was not the tennis of resignation, it was the tennis of learning. When the final point arrived, it did not land with bitterness. There was disappointment, yes, the quiet kind that sits in the chest rather than explodes outward, but there was also clarity. A semi-final exit in a WTA-level tournament is not a failure. It is a checkpoint. For Eala, the doubles run added another layer to her growing professional identity. While singles remains her primary battlefield, doubles sharpens instincts that cannot be trained alone: anticipation, communication, adaptability. Each match alongside Tjen was another lesson in patience and partnership, skills that will echo far beyond Abu Dhabi. For Tjen, the tournament reaffirmed her place on this stage. Competing deep into a draw against seasoned opponents is not luck. It is readiness meeting opportunity. As they left the court, rackets tucked under arms, there was no dramatic farewell. Just a brief exchange, a nod, a shared understanding that this chapter mattered even if it did not end in silverware. Because tennis careers are not built solely on titles. They are built on nights like this, on semifinals lost after honest effort, on matches that expose weaknesses while quietly strengthening resolve. They are built on the ability to walk away from defeat not smaller, but sharper. Abu Dhabi will record the result and move on. The tournament will crown champions, the banners will change, and new names will fill next year's draw. But for Eala and Janice Tjen, the loss will travel with them, not as a burden, but as fuel. A reminder that they belong here, that they can stand on big courts under bright lights and compete without blinking. Sometimes, progress doesn't come with a trophy. Sometimes, it comes with the certainty that you'll be back, and better. Where the match ended, the story continued. The Abu Dhabi night air was still warm when the doubles semifinal came to a close, but the silence that followed felt heavier than the desert heat. On the court stood Eala and Janice Tjen, rackets lowered, eyes briefly fixed on the net that had separated victory from defeat. They had come close, but tennis is a game that rarely rewards closeness. The scoreboard marked their loss in the Abu Dhabi Open doubles semifinals, yet it failed to capture the full weight of what unfolded across those hours. Because this was not simply a match lost, it was a chapter written in persistence, partnership, and quiet growth. From the first serve, Eala and Tjen played with intent. Their movement spoke of understanding, Eala's left-handed baseline aggression paired with Tjen's composed net play. When one attacked, the other covered. When one faltered, the other steadied. Doubles, at its best, is a conversation without words, and theirs flowed naturally. But semifinals demand more than harmony. Their opponents applied pressure relentlessly, testing angles, forcing rush decisions, and exploiting the narrowest gaps. Break points arrived uninvited. Rallies stretched long, draining both legs and focus. Every error felt amplified under the lights, every missed opportunity lingering just a second too long. Still, Eala refused to retreat. She chased down balls others would abandon, sliding into returns that reignited points thought finished. Her youth showed not in hesitation, but in fearlessness. Across the net, seasoned rivals felt her presence, her refusal to let the moment grow larger than herself. Tjen, calm and measured, anchored the partnership. She directed traffic, adjusted positioning, and offered reassurance when momentum threatened to slip away. In a match balanced on the edge of momentum, her steadiness mattered. There were moments when the tide almost turned, games where Eala and Tjen surged, drawing belief from the crowd and from each other. Fists clenched. Eyes sharpened. The possibility of a comeback hovered just within reach. But tennis is unforgiving. A mistimed return. A serve that clipped the net and fell short. In doubles, a single point can tilt an entire set. Slowly, inevitably, the match drifted from their grasp. When the final point was played, there was no collapse, no visible frustration. Only a pause. A breath. A quiet acceptance that this journey, for now, had reached its end. Walking off the court, Eala and Tjen carried disappointment, but also something more valuable, proof. Proof that they could stand in a WTA-level semifinal and compete without shrinking. Proof that their games, though still evolving, belonged on this stage. Proof that partnership, even temporary, can